la prima volta la mia nonna è andata agli Stati Uniti una venerdì sera per lo Shabbat e poi ha preso in braccio le 2 candele, portacandele, per andare giù nella cantina, per accendere le candele dello Shabbat. Mio padre ha detto, mamma, questa America, la terra, paese di libertà. Lei ha detto, non sono sicura. And so she continued in America to light candles in, we call it the basement, the cellar, in the cantina, all of her life, because many traditions, many things that we Marranos did, to hold on to our roots, they became practices. And it was very difficult for especially calabresi, very difficult to know which things the family did are superstition, which things are tradition, which things are cultural, and which are religious.
This is Calabria, in the toe of southern Italy, across from Sicily. Everyone here is Italian. Everyone here likes good food. And most everyone here is Catholic. But there's much more to uncover about their roots.
My family, the last name, the surname Aiello, goes all the way back to Judea and biblical times. Elul means actually in Hebrew to God. And from there, the family went to Babylonia during the first diaspora, and after that to Spain, to Portugal, to Gibraltar, to Morocco, Sardinia, Sicily, and also to the toe of the boot in Reggio Calabria, and then finally running from persecution, the persecution of the Inquisition in the 1500s to Nicastro, now is La Mezzia Terme, Scigliano, and now Serrastretta.
500 years ago, according to scholars and locals alike, there were more than 50,000 Jews living across this region.
La Giudecca non è altro che un luogo che gli ebrei sceglievano, cioè non erano costretti loro ad andare lì per essere rinchiusi. Loro sceglievano questo luogo, tipo questo da noi che è chiamato timpone. Timpone deriva da timpa da noi significa roccia. È un piccolo quartiere costruito sulla roccia, le case sono senza fondamenta ed è circondato da 2 torrenti che la chiudono e dove questi 2 torrenti sotto si incrociano c'è un ponte che consentiva di attraversare il fiume e andare in questo quartiere.
And that's the way things remained. A distant historic memory. A once-was Jewish section in each town. Some families who might admit to having once been Jewish hundreds of years ago. Until something changed. When an Italian-American woman who grew up in Pittsburgh, but whose family had emigrated to the USA from Calabria in the 1920s, discovers her family's secret Jewish roots. And eventually becomes a rabbi with a mission.
My father was the liberator of the Buchenwald concentration camp. Dopo lui ha visto dentro il campo questi ragazzi quasi morti. Lui ha detto a me, tu devi fare qualcosa per ebrei. The priests around me here, they trust me because I'm not going to say, leave the Catholic Church, you're really Jewish. I say, you must know your history.
Allora, tu sai che in tempo fa, molti anni fa, è stato il posto dei ebrei. Sì, tu conosci questa? Sì, che cosa tu ricordi? Che hanno detto?
Hanno detto perché c'era una cosa che c'era l'olio.
Ah, l'olio. Sì.
Hanno fatto questa cosa che c'è, come si chiama? L'arco.
Sì, anche i cognomi, cittadini, taverne,
Io sono
cittadini, nome ebraico. Tu conosci questo? Voi conoscete? Sì. I would say to people, do you think you're Jewish? And they would say, no. Then I realized I was asking the wrong question. What I needed to be asking was, what did your family do when a baby was born? What did your family do when a boy or girl reached 12 or 13 years old? What did your family do for a wedding? What did your family do for mourning when people died? People would say to me, when the baby's born, you must put a red string in the crib. Kabbalah. They would say, when you marry, before you go to church, you have to put the bride and groom sotto la coperta. You have to put them under they would crochet, knit a beautiful covering for the bed, but before they put it on the bed, they put the bride and groom underneath, and they made a blessing. When the girl reaches 12 years old, you make a dinner like Friday night with 2 candles on the table. And when someone dies, like Zio Mario here in town, we found in the house, I own the house over here a fianco. We went inside and we find 25, 30 low chairs. You saw some of them in there. I said, Zio Mario, this family must have had a lot of children. He said, no, per lutto, for mourning. And when we're in mourning, they must sit on low chairs. So you see how the traditions, it was too dangerous to say we are Jewish, but you maintain these practices by saying these are our family traditions. And now we take our Kiddush cup, everyone. We take our cup to make the blessing. We sanctify Shabbat, and we sanctify this very beautiful and special day. Okay, Jeffrey?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Through her website, Rabbi Barbara reached out from this little-known Calabrian village to touch the hearts and minds of the Calabrian Italian diaspora all over the world.
My daughter found Rabbi Barbara's website, and she confirmed everything that I thought we were so different, why we were different, because even simple things like the Italian language. I studied Italian at university. And there's a word in our dialect that my grandmother used to say after we had dinner. She'd say, ricogliamo I hamazzi, which to me, I used to say, I looked it up and it's not Italian. I used to think, where is this word coming from? And it's only been since I've become more interested in my roots that I found out that it's a Jewish word. And I thought maybe it was just every calabresi knew the word. And because I have a school, a lot of my students are calabresi, I used to ask, do you know the word hamazzi? And some would say yes. And then I'd ask their surname, and it was a Jewish surname. And others would say, no, we don't say that, we say moliki. So it was interesting. It's interesting piecing things together.
I always felt like there was something there. I always felt like I was searching for something and didn't know what it was. And when I started going to the synagogue in Florida and meeting with Rabbi Barbara, I felt like I had come home.
She welcomes American interfaith families of Italian, Calabrian, and Jewish heritage for bar mitzvahs and weddings.
It's an interesting time because I'm doing a bar mitzvah for my son, but I didn't actually have a bar mitzvah. I think I'm particularly excited about this as I felt important for me to make sure that my children were educated to be Jewish.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor.
My grandparents came to the United States, and I was raised Catholic.
My daughter's wedding was a mixed. There was a rabbi and also a Catholic priest. I have no objections to it.
Le dorvador, le dorvador nagi gadlecha, le dorvador. I'm going to have you hold it and actually give it to Jeffrey. Le dorvador nagi.
I am happy to do the bar mitzvah here in Calabria because I am not really the party kind of person, and if I did it in the United States, I would have to kind of like throw a party. So I'd rather do it here, and since I'm half Italian, I wanted to do it here.
We offer an alternative to the strict Orthodox practice. We offer a way to live in your family, to live a Jewish life, and to be part of the community.
But not everyone was happy that a Jewish presence, brought by a female rabbi, the first ever in Italy, was making itself felt in this totally Catholic region.
Someone wrote on the wall in front of this apartment building, "Listen, Jew girl." They didn't say Jew old lady, which was nice, I thought. They said Jew girl, since I'm 62 years old. And last time we burned you in the ovens, this time we'll cut you to pieces.
It wasn't only local opposition that made her life difficult, but also from within the Jewish community, there were different voices.
La figura della donna rabbino è una figura molto discussa. La differenza fondamentale tra l'approccio ortodosso e quello riformato su questo punto è la partecipazione all'interno della sinagoga.
L'idea che la donna deve copiare l'uomo significa che la donna non è contenta con questo che c'ha lei.
A woman in my position as a rabbi telling Jews they can be Jewish with a woman rabbi was a really bad thing. A male rabbi, as a reformer, they might have had a coffee together, but not me, because to have a discussion with me, an Orthodox rabbi, it would mean acknowledging acknowledging me as their colleague. Impossible.
Noi possiamo stare a un tavolo tutti in modo pacifico e non arrivare a odiare ognuno. Possiamo anche discutere dopo la cena o durante la cena diverse opinioni, e può essere anche opinioni diverse, contraddittorie, però dobbiamo rimanere sempre in modo molto pacifico, perché perché c'è scritto Vechol derachea shalom, tutte le vie della Torah devono portare alla fine alla pace.
I am the first in my family born in America. My parents came to the United States from here, from Italy. They found other refugee families, and together they made a little synagogue, very traditional, just like the ones they remembered in Europe. The men led the services while the women sat upstairs in the balcony and talked amongst themselves. That's how I grew up, like this, looking down on the action below. So when I was about 8 years old and my aunt asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "Rabbi, that's what I want to be." I remember it well. My aunt and the others in the family, they were stunned. Then Auntie said to me, "Now tell me la verità, carissima. What do you really want to be?" My family was so surprised because back in the day there were no women rabbis, not even one. Yet it didn't seem to matter how many people laughed or shook their heads. The dream never died. The first woman rabbi in the modern day was my colleague, Sally Priesand, who was ordained in the United States in 1976. But it wasn't until 1999 that it happened for me. I was 51 years old, but I finally became a rabbi.